because I'm ready to talk about how much I really apparently am not a fan of Eric Roberts in this film.
You're out of your mind.
I know.
I knew
I was going to get pushed back the moment I said it, but I don't have peanut butter in my mouth. Come on. I'm going to come out swinging because it was one of those things where it was hard for me to get past it. And I know you guys, you guys can see where I'm coming from though, right? It is a big character being played big. And if you don't resonate with it, it's
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming from. It's a big character. It's a big performance. And there are some choices that are made.
Right. Yeah. Somebody poured creme de menthe in your drink. Somebody put a lot of cilantro on your burrito. I get it.
They went for it.
I would like to say that the listeners were deprived the image of Chris imitating Eric Roberts. Perhaps a bonus for the Patreon listeners.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of imitating Eric Roberts on this episode. Okay, so everyone can do you go ahead and tape the Zoom. We're all going to get a shot at this.
Eric Roberts is here to please. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kulturecast. I am still your host, Chris Stachiw, much to the chagrin of many, and I'm joined by one of the hosts of Noise Junkies, your friend and mine, all the way from the Weirding Way Media Network, Father Malone.
What'd you say to me? What'd you say to me? What'd you say it again? What'd you say to me?
Start smacking him real hard.
Mm-hmm. That was implied.
And all the way from a picket line near you, if you live in Los Angeles, your friend and mine, Richard Haddam.
They took my thumb, Charlie. You
did a better Eric Roberts than Eric Roberts did in the movie.
I don't know. That last Charlie, they took my thumb. The passing out Charlie, they took my thumb, is a thing of magnificence.
Beautiful scene. The greatest scene in the movie. People, look, this is a movie they don't make anymore. This is the most 1984 movie you can ever see. I am telling you, do not sleep on this. Go press pause on the podcast. Go watch Pope of Greenwich Village, and then come back and you're welcome.
So yeah, like Richard just mentioned on this episode of the Kulturecast, we are talking about 1984's Stuart Rosenberg directed black comedy and crime film.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
I bet
comedy
we will.
Labeling of this film is perhaps a mislabeling, but
perhaps, mayhaps even.
Mayhap.
But we're going to be talking about the Pope of Greenwich Village.
We're talking cool.
The summer wind came blowing in from across the sea.
Two city boys, just one break from the big time. Mickey Rourke, Eric Roberts, Daryl Hannah, a television premiere. The Pope of Greenwich Village.
So the film is directed by Stuart Rosenberg, written by Vincent Patrick, based off of a book of the same name, and stars the aforementioned Eric Roberts and Mickey Rourke, the guy who this entire month was about, and they play good friends, cousins even. I mean, again, they could be related. They don't have to be related. They're friends, they're cousins, they're related. They're wise guys or wise fellas or wise friends, and they get themselves into a little bit of trouble because one of them can't keep his mouth shut, and the other one just wants to live his life. He just wants to exist, folks, and make money and take care of Daryl Hannah and his son, who he doesn't see. And along the way, they run into Burt Young, who plays one of the greatest named characters ever, Bedbug Eddie. A whole lot of other people. A heist goes wrong. Kenneth McMillan is there. Father Malone, I'm going to kick it to you first because I think we're talking about this movie because of you.
Oops.
But not in a bad way. Not in a bad way, but why are we talking about this Mickey Rourke performance?
Because I was staggered that it had not been programmed in a month about Mickey Rourke. It is perhaps his finest performance. There's some. Okay, I first saw this movie in high school on videotape because all of my theater nerd friends were all obsessed with The Method. Oh my God, could not get enough of The Method. If your name was De Niro or Pacino or any variant of Italian and were emoting all over the place, we were very much into that. The problem for me with this movie when I first saw it was I had seen Mean Streets. And as much as I adore Mickey Rourke and Eric Roberts and kind of the movie overall as an actor's piece, the story that they were telling had already been really skillfully done. And everyone kept telling me that that movie, the Pope of Greenwich Village, was a comedy, and I didn't find it very funny. I found it kind of heartbreaking. So I had a kind of a conflicted feeling about the movie for many years, but then rewatching it, just settling into it and letting it be what it is, which is two of the finest method actors of cinema, at not maybe the pinnacle of their talent, but certainly close to it, hovering nearby. It's kind of a joy, because as dumb as the plot is and as boneheaded as all of the characters' choices are, I never don't believe them. Like, I know we're going to get into Eric Roberts and the histrionics of it, but hey man, this is melodrama, and he's like playing, he never doesn't believe his performance. So, and Mickey Rourke is just beautiful, and I love him, and he's just so amazing in this particular flick. Like, as a young Irish kid in Boston, I wanted to be Mickey Rourke. So that's why we're watching this movie.
Mr. Haddam, I know you'd never seen it before, right? Is that correct?
Oh no, I've seen it.
You had? Okay.
Yeah. So I saw it in the theaters the week it came out. And then, because Father Malone and I are approximately the same age. So I was in high school. I was a senior, 1984, saw it, and then saw it the following week on a date with a girl named Heather, who, I'm not sure this was a great date movie. I'll say that.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's not.
It might, or not, the best.
Yeah, or the best. I mean, depending on who that person is. Heather was a lovely human being, and but not, I don't think she was a person who really wanted to see this movie or was really into what this movie was. I watch it now and I'm like, this is an odd choice to take a girl on a first date, but okay. But we went, and it did not turn out to be one of the great dates of all time.
Did you know the content going in?
Totally.
Oh, okay. That's all you then.
I have no one to blame but myself, but I liked it so much. And I'm just like, oh, this is a really cool movie. This is great. This is great. Anyone should love this movie. That having been said, I had an understanding of this movie, or one of the dynamics in the movie, because of, I realize now, this is going to sound weird, but there's there's a show called The Rockford Files starring James Garner. And there was a character in the Rockford Files called Angel Martin. And Angel was an old cellmate and prison buddy of Garner's, of Rockford's. And he was what the creator of the Rockford Files, Stephen J. Cannell, Angel was what he called the bad news friend. Because people were always asking him, why is Rockford still friends with this guy who is totally unreliable, would sell him out in a second, is always looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, the dumber the better, is always getting him into trouble. Why are they still friends? And Cannell was like, he's the bad news friend. I think everyone has one. I think everyone has a friend that after a certain point you just realize, well, I've been drafted by God to be this guy's buddy. and I do have genuine affection for him, even though it takes way more energy and way more faith to continue this friendship, but I will, for reasons that have faded into the mists of time. I couldn't even diagnose and diagram exactly why I'm connected. And that's what this movie's about. And Daryl Hannah nails it. She's like, speaking to Mickey Rourke's character, Charlie, she's like, you're always 1 inch away from being a good guy. And when she says good guy, she means legit. Like, get a job, raise a kid, get married, put a down payment on a place, and be a middle-class guy.
Go just straight, Richard.
Go straight. Take one step out of your cultural milieu. And it's interesting because Mickey Rourke is fairly ambivalent about that. He realizes that Paulie, Eric Roberts' character, is an albatross. But in a weird way, it's an albatross he is willing to bear. In this movie, we see him absolutely like steam coming out of the ears, furious at this guy who time after time almost gets him killed. And yet the other half of the movie, he's us. He's looking at this guy through squinted eyes and is going, who the fuck fuck are you? Where did you come from? You're crazy. Somehow you're charming. I can't help but love you. I'm either going to hug you or punch you in the face. I can't tell which one, but I'm never going to leave your side and I'm never going to let you down. And it's that weird dynamic that carries the movie up until its final moment. I have a soft spot for this kind of thing, and I've got a big soft spot for this movie.
So, again, my issues with Eric Roberts aside, and we'll get to him because, again, it is a performance that he has decided to take, and that's fine. Other than that, look, I'm a huge fan of mobster films and gangster films. There's a lot of Sopranos folks in this movie. A lot of them show up, including Burt Young. I'm a huge fan of Burt Young, obviously. He's just one of those character actors. I mean, this is a movie replete with character actors, like we've already...
It's an extravaganza.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, they even managed to get M. Emmett Walsh in here, which is like the most surprising thing of all. Like, and there's the stuffed dog man himself, M. Emmett Walsh, callback to Chronicles from the Crypt, oh so long.
Oh yes, collection complete.
Yeah, but this I think for me is the best Mickey Rourke has been all month, hands down, in terms of a fully realized character that actually makes sense in the world that he's in. I'm not saying Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man didn't make sense, but this character lives in this world. He could bump into, Henry Hill from Goodfellas, and it would be believable. It's a believable character that's been well written. Obviously, the author adapted his own book into a screenplay, so there is a lot of that. But this, for me, is the best Mickey Rourke has been all month. And I understand now why you both feel the way you feel about this movie, because this is my favorite that I've seen Mickey Rourke be this month. He's really good in this movie.
Well, and it comes down, I think, I'm glad to hear you say that. And I think this is where it's funny. I think the question of whether it's a comedy or in what ways is it a comedy, that's a discussion to be had, because if it is a comedy, it's almost a comedy of manners or a character comedy based on the behavior of people within this world. And it's not a comedy the way The In-Laws, a contemporary film, is a comedy. This is a comedy drama. It's a mob movie that's sort of barely about the mob. It's a thriller that has one crime. There's great violence in the movie that sort of occurs, and then we move past it. It's almost without a genre other than people in this area during this 1 month period of 1984 of this part of New York, and we're just going to talk about them. And it is funny when movie opens and Mickey Rourke is getting dressed. It's almost a montage of the cufflinks and the tie clip and the shoes and just the beautiful, beautiful costumes. This fucking suit he's wearing, the first of many. And we're listening to Frank Sinatra sing Summer Wind. And that's what the movie feels like all the way up until we meet Daryl Hannah, who's in, leggings and leotard, and
various
she's teaching
states of undress from the moment we see her.
She's practically
throughout.
Oh yeah. I mean,
if she isn't, she walks into a scene with clothes and removes them
promptly.
Oh yeah. You can barely keep her in clothes, but when she walks on screen, it's 1984. We're in her, we're in the aerobics class. And they've got the real high-waisted one-piece outfits. I mean, all the women in that class are so funny. And in that one scene where Mickey Rourke and Eric Roberts come in, and they are just little Italy'd out with the tight slacks and the open shirt and the gold chains, and they're walking through an aerobics class, and it's like two movies meeting. You're like, and they both. Everyone's looking at the other people like they're watching a movie. Eric Roberts is looking at these women like, what's this? When did this land? And the women are kind of looking at him like, what movie did this guy come out of? And it's kind of great because it hits the nail on the head for the scene we're about to see, which is Daryl Hannah saying to Mickey Rourke, I don't think this is going to work. Like, you're over there. I'm over here. We're this close to making it work. but that last inch is the inch that will never be crossed. And he basically says, you might be right. I can't argue with you.
Oh, he says more than you might be right. Perhaps my favorite scene in the movie, where she slaps him and then slaps him again. And then his response is, hit me again, see if I change. Because at that point, he has decided, I'm no longer interested in the wasp dream you're peddling me. I'm going to do whatever I end up doing my own way. It's also a scene that indicates to me what my problem with the movie is that I wish there was no mafia at all in the movie. I wish there was no crime in the movie.
Thank you. It seems kind of unnecessary in the same way that A Prayer for the Dying made it about mobsters. This movie should have taken some of that out, because it kind of gets in the way of a more interesting story.
I agree. We all have a bad friend. Listen, I grew up with fucking hoodlums, so I have had more than my share of this sort of nonsense. But there comes a point in the movie where you're like, okay, you have to cut bait now.
Right.
This isn't just like you took money out of my wallet, or, you took my car, or where's this or that thing of mine. This is like, you did not tell me we were going to rob a mob boss's safe. You then ratted me out to said mob boss. Like it's more. It's more than the movie can bear. It's more than the relationship can bear. And the problem is that the characters are so good, and I'm enjoying all of their interactions. Every scene of drama in the movie, I am 100% on board for. It's just like all of the other stuff sort of weighs it down. Like, I don't know.
Well, typically what I'll do with a movie, like a finished product, is I'll be grappling with what it's ultimately about. And then my rule or instinct is, however it ends tells you what it's really about. And then you just have to, it's like echolocation. Once you hit the end, then you have to bounce back through the entire movie and just make everything line up with that ending, because that's clearly what they wanted. Now, what this ending is, and we're going to talk about the ending, and it's a 40-year-old movie, so please, spoiler alert. But it ends with both of them doing something kind of risky to get out of a predicament that they're in. But it really ends with the two of them, in a weird way, in even bigger trouble than they've ever been in. And they're still friends. And they're just walking down the street going, you're crazy. No, you're crazy. And they're going back and forth. And the movie is telling you the friendship survives. And the music tells you it's okay. You don't need to worry about this. These guys are going to make it. By guess or by gosh, they're going to somehow, no matter how stupid Paulie is, they're going to be okay. And this is their friendship. And you can leave the theater feeling all right. Again, with The Summer Wind playing. So if that's what we're being given in the very final moment, then I just sort of, again, bounce back through all the scenes and go, okay, the one character that made a decision in this movie is Mickey Rourke. He made the decision, I'm going to stick with my own kind, and I'm going to do what I have to do. He does something really interesting, though, in the last 10 minutes of the movie. At the racetrack, he gets smart about Paulie. Paulie has a plan. We're going to put all of our money on this horse. He's got this crazy scheme. He's been following this horse. He's invested in this horse. The horse is going to win, and we got to bet him to win. And the horse doesn't win. The horse loses by a nose, and Paulie is devastated. And he can't understand, even though time after time after time his starry hopes fall short. He's devastated. Mickey Rourke isn't, because Mickey Rourke didn't bet the horse to win. He bet the horse to show. And so he got money, and they're going to be okay. And it's the one moment in the movie that says, maybe Mickey Rourke has figured out a way to deal with this guy. He's never going to solve him, but it's like, I'm going to be able to mitigate the damage of this guy. I know how far to trust him. I know how to listen to him. He's not 100% wrong. I just got to make sure I protect myself.
I don't disagree with any of that. Their relationship is the center of the movie. It's about the love of these two guys for each other, and it's wonderfully portrayed in a way that is kind of shocking to see that it was in 1984. They're walking arm in arm a lot in this movie.
Oh my God. I love that. I'm like, what am I seeing here? Is this just well observed behavior from this particular culture. But I like literally Eric Roberts kind of slips his arm into Mickey Rourke's in a very sort of like, I'm your girlfriend kind of way. They're not gay. They're not in love. But it's this sort of, it's almost like Paulie is saying, Charlie, you're my man. You're the older brother. And I'm sort of the plus one. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. But I think what you're saying is where we end up with these two characters is, I agree. Now Charlie has figured Paulie out, and he's settled in his mind that that's the life for him. I just don't think the stakes needed to be so ridiculously high, and the boneheadedness of everyone involved, because Charlie has a pretty good dream at the start of this movie. He wants to save up enough money and start a restaurant. He's on his way and he's getting there, and he's not following any scheme of Paulie's here. He's telling him, don't stop your shenanigans. You're going to get fired. And he ends up getting fired as well. And that's like the least thing he does. If somebody got me fired, we would be taking a break from each other for a little while, cousin or not. And then he ropes him into a boneheaded crime. And then I don't know, it just cascades and cascades. And the thing is, ultimately, that makes me not like the characters. Whereas if it had just been this human drama, which is what we're getting out of it because of these two actors. Now, here's the thing. Would this movie work as well for you, both of you, if it were not these two fellas playing the leads?
No, these guys are perfect. These guys should win 4 Academy Awards apiece. It's the ultimate. I've never enjoyed Eric Roberts more. Coca-Cola Kid's a great movie, but this is my jam. And I think it's funny. I think, Chris, for every time your dial goes down, mine goes up for this performance.
Yeah, right.
There's certain, there are, I don't always love over the top performances, but if this played as straight drama, I would recoil. But because it was so clearly like, who is this guy? And we're so clearly supposed to always kind of laugh at him. I was laughing in the scene where he shows up. He's got the big bandage around his hand. They've cut his thumb off. I mean, this is horrible. This is terrifying. And then the scene is funny. He's like, Mickey Rourke is like, did they give you anything? Yeah, they gave me, it's in my sock. They gave me this. I took all of them already. Then he starts walking around doing this insane monologue about how you've got to terrorize women every once in a while. Oh. And he's trying to be tough, and he keeps punching the punching bag in the room with one hand, and then the reverberation hurts the hand where the thumb's been taken off. And he keeps punching the bag and going, ow, punching the bag and going, ow. And then he collapses on the floor. It's so over the top that, but for me, that's what it's about. It's just like, this guy literally is too much for us, but for Mickey Rourke, apparently it's within range of dealability.
But I think I agree with Father Malone, though, because Mickey Rourke is a gangster in the mob, he would just kill Eric Roberts.
No, I don't think they're gangsters.
But the problem is Mickey Rourke is a gangster in this movie.
I don't think he is. I don't think either one of them are.
Really?
No,
neither one. They have.
No. Eric Roberts is not. I'm not saying he is, but
neither is Mickey Rourke.
He's putting on airs like you.
He's trying to become as right. Socially stable and as wealthy as them, certainly, but he's not doing it by illicit means. He seemed to have given that up.
When they're on the roof and Eric Roberts is like, look, I forget a job, I got a score. And Mickey Rourke says, that guy's a professional. You're not a professional. I'm not a professional thief. You're not a professional thief. We're amateurs. We're just these dudes. We're just guys. I work at a restaurant. I'm not adept at this, and we are not accepted into those ranks. We're not hanging out with Eddie Grant. We're adjacent to. We're in the milieu, but we're not those dudes. And you want us, and you're dumb enough to think we can be, but you don't have it, and you don't have the grit, and I don't have the grit. So let's not joke around it. But then he gets talked into it, and he only does it because Daryl Hannah says she's pregnant.
This is true, certainly, but I would also add that their sort of capering ends up killing my favorite character in the movie, which is Jack Kehoe's Bunky, the detective whose side is he on? I still don't know, but everyone was going down when Bunky was involved. I love Jack Kehoe. I loved seeing him here. One of my favorite faces of all time. He was in literally everything in the 1980s, it seemed. And The Untouchables obviously being a super highlight in my young life, but also in Midnight Run. I'll go get donuts. He's anyway. So anyway, my point is that, like, there are higher stakes here than their own lives. They end up, they didn't push the guy down that thing, but if they hadn't been there, he wouldn't have fallen down an elevator shaft. Like, he went into that hole like a gopher.
Yeah, that scene is wild. When he goes down the elevator shaft, I can't even figure out I watched it back a couple times. I couldn't really figure out what the hell happened. Did he just shoot his gun? And in shooting his gun, the recoil threw him down an elevator shaft as if he had never shot his gun before. It was bizarre.
He became startled and then stepped backward, not knowing it was there, I think, or something. It was a little weird.
There was no stepping there. He flew through the air down that elevator. Like a mannequin being thrown at David Warner, he flew down that elevator shaft.
Okay, so this is the novel part of the movie that again, I think they did a really good job with. Again, Chris and I just talked about another Mickey Rourke film based on a novel, Prayer for the Dying, based on a Jack Higgins novel. And I think that one suffers because of its consistently melodramatic tone and also its over-reliance on the plotting in the novel that may not be as interesting as other things. This one, I think, this movie gave itself over to character moments. I think where the novel comes in is sort of the Irish cop element. They're running through this movie is you've got the Italians and then and sort of the criminal element, and then you got the Irish cops, and they're also a criminal element.
A horribly criminal element.
Yeah, it's clear, like it's not a lot of screen time, but it's pretty clear that, okay, these Irish cops are on the take from who knows who, but definitely from Bedbug Eddie Grant. So and it's been going on for a while. I mean, Emmett Walsh says, I've been trying to work this for 27 years, but the inflation keeps going up, and it's like I haven't done anything at all. So it's like the cops are investing in the organized crime world, cutting deals with these mobsters and pocketing the money as a hedge against their retirement. And that's absolutely what Bunky is doing. I mean, we get a scene, and the mom is Geraldine Page. Geraldine Page is suddenly in this movie.
2 scenes, spectacular. My God. I keep saying my favorite scene in the movie, the scene where she faces off against Emmett Walsh, is the actual best scene in the movie. It's better than Eric Roberts, actually.
Night Gallery's own Geraldine Page.
Damn right. And she's great on Night Gallery.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's in this movie. And again, this is the kind of role that gets written to win somebody Best Supporting Actress in 1984. It's like 2 scenes, you crush it, you're a legend, you're in. You're at least going to get a nomination. God only knows what the rest of the movie world has. Anyway, she shows up, but suddenly we're with like not even tertiary characters. We're with like characters off down some alley that it takes us a minute to even understand why we're spending time with them. But Jack Kehoe is Bunky. His mom is Geraldine Page. She is a grizzled old broad, tough as nails, but they have a plan. He has been taking bribes from organized crime, from Bedbug Eddie Grant, but he's been wearing a wire. He's been tape recording it. And his plan is, I'm going to take the money, but if things go sideways, I've got him on tape and I can use that to deal my way out of trouble. Got it. He's the guy who falls down the elevator shaft. But they had a dream. And the scene where they talk about their future is the scene where you know he's going to die. Because no way a movie spends 5 minutes talking about some way down the list character's dream unless that character is doomed. And of course he is. But this is all part of the fucking Bruegel painting, wide scope of this neighborhood. The Italians, the Irish, the cops, the bad guys, the good guys, the girl from the other side of the tracks, Daryl Hannah. So it does just enough to suggest a wide canvas of characters, and in the middle, these two guys who just can't quit each other.
Whoa. You really were picking up on the gay subtext of this movie, huh?
Well, I always love it when movies play the homoeroticism way up front. You know, it's like, because people always think they're clever. Oh, buddy cop movies are just, they're lightly veiled, homoerotic. I always love the ones where it's like, great, don't even veil it. Just have them kiss each other. It's like they love each other. They're holding, Riggs, don't you die on me, man. And they're bleeding on each other. It's like, great, just go for it.
As we say, just fuck already.
Just fuck already.
I guess I don't know what would have been the point of having Eric Roberts' character be written that way, if not for that. I mean, there's nothing else like that in the movie other than that one kind of weird interaction.
There isn't.
Uncle Pete. Uncle Pete.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
on the
that's right.
mouth.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, it's a very. It's like
this is not his.
This is the world we're in. This is and men. It's all about men and their relationships. I mean, Susan would just mock the fuck out of this movie. I couldn't watch it with her. She's like, yeah, you can watch that one on your own. I'm like, oh yeah, you bet I'm going to watch it on my own because I don't want you ruining it for me.
It is very testosterone-y.
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke is basically that glimmer you see. It's not sweat. That's all testosterone just pouring out of him in every scene.
It's the sweatiest movie. They're literally just dripping with liquid all the time.
Angel Heart, however.
Yeah.
That takes the cake as far as the perspiration.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say there is a scene where Mickey Rourke's hair is not up and he's wearing what I can only describe as like a quilt shirt. And it's funny. It's a funny scene because Mickey Rourke doesn't look at all like the character in them for like one scene. He looks very like dressed down.
Yeah.
And he's at his meanest in that scene.
Yeah.
So she's dressed the way that's the version that she's looking for of him. The hair is matted down and he's in boxers and the stylish shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, because she wants to change him, like you said, Father, and bring him to the suburbs. She's from Maine. There was a weird moment in what you said was your favorite scene, and I love that scene too, but that it almost felt like we had missed something, or maybe I missed it, where she said something about being in Maine or working for somebody in Maine. It was clear that they went up and had lunch. He was going to meet with somebody, but I feel like I didn't quite get what that information was. Like maybe we missed a scene. What do you think?
Well, he was supposed to be meeting somebody there and then told them to like give them their regards. Like, oh no, we're just going to here to eat lunch. But I think this was a potential out moment in the film. This was
I'm going to go straight kind of thing.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the landscape where you want to go to and see if I can't fit in there.
Am I crazy? I have to tell you, if you look at this film as a choice that Mickey Rourke has to make between Daryl Hannah and Eric Roberts, I'm so glad he chose Eric Roberts.
Me too, 100%.
Well, and I will say that's the kind of a weird thing about this movie. The Daryl Hannah character, while I appreciate where they're going with it, that we've seen that kind of character so many times before. It's a genuinely ununique character in this kind of narrative. It's, this is the character you're trying to or supposed to go straight for. Right. But they end up being kind of not unlikable, but almost in every scene a nag. And it's like, I kind of have no interest in the character ultimately being with you.
That's her unfortunate role here in this movie. Right. But the one distinction is that she steals all the money. And that made me like her character a great deal.
It was hilarious because you almost get the feeling she, like in some weird way, didn't really think of it as stealing. It's more like, I took the money. It's for our kid. Like it didn't seem to be a real twist of the knife. It was almost like, you did what? And he tears up I've never seen a man beat up a refrigerator before.
He dents the fuck out of it.
Mickey Rourke attacks the refrigerator. He's punching through walls. He's punching through doors. He's destroying his apartment. I
was genuinely concerned for his safety during that sequence, honestly. And I watched it twice, and both times I was wincing at how hard he was going for it.
Yeah. And don't you get the feeling that was all like real? They didn't, that was not a special prop refrigerator.
No, I believe that. I believe that he said, okay, just say action. That's kind of what I think.
Well, I expect nothing less from Mickey Rourke, but that's okay, right? Like that's the magic of Mickey Rourke, as far as I'm concerned. Like he's just an actor. He just acts. That's what I do, man. And
it sets up what is maybe the most genuinely comedic moment in the film. The scene we already talked about, where Eric Robert walks in, with a bloody bandage wrapped around his hand. We're still living in the horror that they have cut his thumb off, and he walks in and he's crying. They took my thumb. They took my thumb. And then he looks around. He's like, "What happened here? Everything's all broken up. What happened?" He's like totally distracted. That was actual comedy.
Yes. Oh, 100%. That's a great scene. You know what I love about the end of that scene is when Eric Roberts is on the mend. It starts with Mickey Rourke like fixing a tray for him of food, and which he then carries to him, which I did not realize until watching it again now, that is the ultimate sacrifice for Mickey Rourke, because in the midst of having no job, he's offered a waiter job. And that is so offensive to him that he kicks the guy in the ass and sends him on his way. And so now here we see him doing this for Eric Roberts, and it's so beautiful. This movie is about the choice between Daryl Hannah and Eric Roberts for this character.
He's taking care of him in a way you could never picture him doing for Daryl Hannah ever. And he brings the stuff, and Eric Roberts is like lying in the bed and his hand is still bleeding, and he sort of wakes up, and Mickey Rourke is feeding him soup, and Eric Roberts sort of like spitting it out, going, this is canned. What is this, white bread? He's complaining. It's the ultimate bad news friend. Just eat it. Just eat it.
Just want Frank Vincent in that scene to tell him to go home and get his fucking shine box before he cuts his thumb off. I do like that it's Frank Vincent that cuts off Eric Roberts' thumb. Don't get me wrong.
Only appropriate.
Of course. Hey, he kills Joe Pesci in Casino. So, I think it's fitting.
Let me mention another scene I love. It's not my favorite, but it just sort of only illustrates the relationship of these two when they're making the rounds to all of these delis. We never get to see their interactions in the delis. They just keep popping in and out and popping in and out. And what they've been doing this entire time is building a sandwich. They've now got all the ingredients. And if you haven't done this, folks, you should do this because it's great. Make your own sandwich. It looks incredibly crazy what the amount of meat. There's got to be at least a pound of meat. I did not see the cheese they had chosen. I'm assuming it was provolone. By the way, Joe Grafasi shows up late in this movie as Joey the Cheese Man. And that's another great character moment where Eric Roberts is like, yeah, your mozzarella is a little tough. I'm not saying, not all of it maybe, but
a little tough on the mozzarella sometimes. You're not even sure what's happening. Like, I watched the scene twice. I watched it, and then when Dashiell got home, I'm like, I was trying to describe Pope of Greenwich Village to my 16-year-old son and failing miserably. I'm like, I just gotta just come and watch this one scene where he's making a sandwich, and just watch the behavior and watch the way Mickey Rourke is watching him. And it was only when I went back that I realized, they're walking in and out of these places, getting the meat, getting the cheese, getting the bread. And I'm like, that's so beautiful. It's just happening. A lot of behavior in this movie. And then he sits down, and now he's explaining his plan about artificial inspiration. And you do it with horses. And this guy jacks off a horse and gets the horse's jism. And then he knocks up this female horse, because you don't always want them getting together, because sometimes the male horse gets so excited he kicks her in the head and kills her. So now this is how you get, because it's all about the genes. Because here's the thing about horses, and this might be the theme of the movie. A horse can't ever make itself any better than what it is when it's born. Like right. It's just genes. It's like when the horse is running, that it's the genes running, and the horse has nothing to do with it. It's hilarious. It's the theme of the movie. Can you make yourself better than your genes? That's the theme of the movie. And as he's doing it, and as he's doing this monologue, just handfuls of meat going into this enormous baguette, chunks of cheese, this whole thing. So at the end of the scene, he picks up a sandwich that you've watched him build, and yet in the shot, it's 4 times bigger than you could ever have believed it would.
It's like a Abrams Zucker gag when he picks it up. It's like a comically large sandwich.
It might be a yard long. And he just sinks his teeth into the very end of it. And Mickey Rourke, who's been listening to this idiot for 5 solid minutes, is just smiling at him. He just loves this guy so much. And he wipes his face off. And he's like, you ought to get a license to shit in the street. You're eating like a horse.
I'd like to point out that this movie now would be less of being coded gay and straight up. And I think it would be an interesting story. I mean, how many gay mobster films have we seen? Or mobster adjacent,
actually,
yeah.
Because you would look. I don't care what kind of a friend you are. If you're getting me involved with the mob and they're going to come kill me and potentially others that I love, that's not ever going to happen. But if it was my girlfriend and she was doing something crazy and I would want to go along just to make sure, that makes more sense to me.
Okay, but I got to say this. That cinema and everything, all Western storytelling has this thing, and we talked about it earlier, but it's like, how do you show male love that isn't at its base sexual? So because we know it exists, we know that sort of like I love you like a brother thing exists now in Western culture. It always carries the question, the fear, the paranoia. Yeah, but is it gay? Is it not gay? I think this movie does a beautiful job of illustrating, like, they're third cousins. So it's not family love. It's not literal brother. It's not like you're my brother, so I have to stick with you. It's, we have a bond. Paulie has had a bladder problem ever since he was a kid. When Mickey Rourke says that, you do realize suddenly, oh, they've known each other from the crib. Like, they literally grew up. He has always been on the schoolyard. He was probably beating up people who were bullying Paulie. Paulie has been
not probably. He was.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So how does a story talk about this sort of male love that isn't sexual, and how do you do it? And I think this movie does it really well.
I agree with you. I don't think that this is necessarily a homoerotic movie, but my mind goes there because they raise the stakes so fucking high with the plot that
what choice could he make?
It beggars belief that Mickey Rourke never said, who are we ripping off?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that part is hard to believe that he would not ask that.
It makes me dislike Mickey Rourke's character a great deal.
Well, it's a plot contrivance.
I'm telling you, the whole mob thing, take it out of here. It doesn't belong here. We don't need those stakes. The stakes are these characters and their relationships.
Well, that's why I said the thing about murdering Eric Roberts, because, like, if it's the mobsters, those guys are not gonna hesitate, but Mickey Rourke not being one, I don't know. It's a weird fatalism of the stakes that doesn't need to be there, because I don't think that's the interesting story to be told here.
But my question is, I don't know what story you would tell, and for me, the mobster story, it doesn't ruin it, because again, it's like it's mobster adjacent. These guys are so low rent. I would compare it more like, it's going to sound crazy because it is a movie that is, I don't think, really a comedy at all, but I'm going to shout out Boys in the Hood. Okay. Boys in the Hood is a movie, but very dramatic, even melodramatic, about you live in this culture where you are crime adjacent. And the question as you're coming up is always, are you getting in or are you getting out? And I think there are elements of that exist in the Italian crime world in New York in the movie that we're talking about. Are you getting in or are you getting out? There's advantages to getting in. There's girls, there's money, there's cars. There's advantages to getting out. You keep both your thumbs. you don't die. So which do you do? So I'm going to buy it, even though it's not a Scorsese crime movie. It's about guys who live in a world where that's part of the world they live in. And you got to decide where you fit in that world. And a guy like Pauly is just dumb enough and has that, I want to be the cool guy who gets the tickets to the Sinatra show and sits 2 seats away from Tony Bennett. You know, he wants it. The glitter draws him and fools him in a way that it doesn't quite for Mickey Rourke's character, for Charlie. Mickey Rourke's a little smarter. He's like, we're dealing with dangerous people. We got to really watch what we do. And it starts at the very beginning of the movie when they're both working at Sal's. And Mickey Rourke is the one saying, you're fucking with your checks. You know, your dupes, they call them in the restaurant business. It's like you're bringing out 12 entrees, but you're only charging them for 6 because you want to get in good with that guy, but you're getting in bad with our boss, who, by the way, is a dangerous guy too. So don't be dumb about this. We've got a nice gig here. I get to dress nice. I get to wink at the coat check girl, even though I've got a girlfriend, Daryl Hannah, at home. I get to be a cool dude, and that's good enough. Don't fuck it up. Well, guess what? He fucks it up. Pauly fucks it up for both of them. And that's just the beginning of the spiral.
In fact, the scene at the end, which is a great scene with Burt Young, Bedbug, Eddie, the stare down between Burt Young and Mickey Rourke is something to behold. But my point is about that final scene is Mickey Rourke has now an ingenious solution for their problem. And then Pauly fucks that up as well.
Yeah, but that for me that's the funniest scene in the movie, when Burt Young drinks the lie and then takes off like a character out of Looney Tunes running down the street, because that's what you do when you drink lie. I laughed every time I watched it, especially because Burt Young threw himself out that fucking glass door. That is Burt Young doing that stunt. They don't cut away. It's very clearly Burt Young throwing himself through a glass door.
Well, it's horrible to think about. Like literally this guy just downed lie.
An espresso cup full of lie.
Yeah, he's going to die. I mean, he's dead. And he's going to die because acid is going to dissolve his internal organs. That's bad. In a way, you love it because you're like, fuck that dude. On the other hand, you're like, God, we were an inch away from actually just legitimately getting him over a barrel in a way that could have allowed us to exist in our lives. But then you pushed it all the way into the red zone. And I guess in the sequel, Pope of Greenwich Village 2, Miami Nights, they're in Miami.
Somewhere.
Getting into more goofy trouble because Pauly can't keep his mouth shut.
I want to see it. They should make it right now. Those guys are still kicking. I would love to.
We said that last time on the Harley Davidson and Marlboro Man episode. These guys are still around. Why not?
Okay, I got the guy though. You could do it with them, but if I was saying, I'm like, who does this guy remind me of? This won't mean anything to you guys, I don't think, because I don't think you watch Titans. But there's an actor named Curran Walters who played Jason Todd on Titans, and I'm telling you, Curran Walters has that Eric Roberts energy. If I said, Curran, I want you to watch this movie and then we're going to remake it, he would watch it and he would go, oh, I get exactly what this is. And he would deliver a performance within 1% of Eric Roberts.
Eric Roberts going to have a son in part 2.
There you go. Mickey
Rourke already has a son. Mickey Rourke could have a son, and then it's his son tracking him down, right? Like that's where I would go with this. I mean, that's a logical direction, and you could even rope Daryl Hannah in for a scene or two. You know, why not?
Beautiful. I'm in. Let's do it.
I would watch it. That is the sobering thing about movies from the 80s. It's like, so many movies from the 80s have been remade in the last 20 years, but it's only things that were IPs of known value. I mean, this is a book that became a movie
that no one ever heard of. This isn't Harry Potter. No one's ever heard of this book. I didn't know it was based on a book until 2 hours ago when I watched the movie again. I'm like, oh, I didn't really clock that this was based on a book. Now I want to read the book. I'm like, what the fuck is this book?
Yeah, at this perilous time for the Writers Guild of America, I don't want to bag on any screenwriter necessarily, but Vincent Patrick wrote one of my least favorite movies of all time, The Devil's Own. It's an IRA drama.
Oh, we talked about that on the last episode.
They say, like, I hear often, like, what's the worst movie you've ever seen? And to me, the answer has always been whatever bored me last. Like, I'm not holding on to a bad movie.
Right.
However, if you bore me and I feel insulted, then that might be the worst movie of all time, because what a subject with a big studio behind it and all the potential, and then take no stand at all and just spin their fucking wheels with a very important topic.
Did you just describe a prayer for the dying?
Yeah, but like,
I mean, Richard mentioned it on the episode. He was like, Richard mentioned it, like the IRA is a hard thing to do an entertaining, uplifting, upbeat movie about.
Well, but the movie I mentioned was, we name checked Devil's Own, which I don't remember. Maybe I saw it. Maybe it was so boring I forgot. But I talked about Blown Away.
Oh, let's talk about Blown Away as a Bostonian. Okay. Aside of Jeff Bridges doing the worst Boston accent I've ever heard. I love Jeff Bridges. We all love Jeff Bridges. Who doesn't love the dude? Nevertheless, the worst Boston accent of all time, which makes zero sense character-wise because he's from Ireland. He leaves Ireland when he's in his 20s and somehow develops a Boston accent. Do you hear my Boston accent? No. Okay.
I don't.
Shut up, Chris. So
I heard it last time we talked, but you're right. I'm not hearing it now.
I got to be riled. But then just to set an IRA drama, and it's not an IRA drama. It's a mad bomber drama dressed in the cerements of the grave of the IRA. It was, okay. Maybe that's worse than Devil's Own as far as the subject matter.
I haven't seen Blown Away. I want to watch.
You should watch it and review it.
So Father, what I was saying is that Blown Away, it was kind of exactly what you said, was not trying to be a drama. It was trying to be a big summer blockbuster, a big thriller. A guy is setting bombs, but it's an old grudge from, the old country. And again, I don't remember it clearly enough, except that I remember it feeling like it was trying to be an exciting, thriller. And that's certainly what the trailer indicated it was going to be, that Tommy Lee Jones was, this legendary guy who, can he be captured? It's a cat and mouse game against, Boston between the best and the best. And that's a great buildup. Again, don't remember if the movie was any good, but it was trying.
It's terrible. It fails on all those levels because what they're trying to tell effectively is Mad Bomber versus Bomb Squad movie, but they've set it in a town and then brought the fucking IRA to the party and then don't deal with that at all. Patriot Games deals with the IRA in a more nuanced fashion.
I mentioned Patriot Games.
But that was funny. This was there was this like 5-year period of time when suddenly the IRA was fodder for films. And I think we've named all of them.
That we were finally, things were going somewhere in Northern Ireland. And so the IRA was becoming more political and less actually active. So it was easy to now use them as characters in your drama and spice up your drama. Give it a bit of heft for no good goddamned reason.
Right, exactly. Because, and what we were saying was that it's like, you can name check it, but and you can have Western actors play those roles. So you're not doing South America, revolutionaries. You can get, British actors and American actors and cast them in major roles. But when the dust settles, the Troubles are called the Troubles for a reason. It's a fucking downer. There's nothing fun about that conflict. And I think everyone realizes it too late.
Women and children being blown up is not fun. What?
Yeah, no.
Certainly, they hadn't gotten that particular memo in Hollywood that what was actually going on was a fucking decades-long nightmare, and it had lasted so long that nobody knew what the fight was anymore. It was all about the fight. But I totally agree with you, Rich. The everyone is always looking for the next great white villain, right? Who can we cast? Who can we get the white people to play that is acceptable? Because we don't want to piss off anyone, and white people are fodder, but we need a new version.
Yeah. Yeah, not a ton of amazing movies about the Contras and the Sandinistas.
It's overdue, the treatment.
I mean, those would be interesting movies, maybe. Probably to be just, I mean, I'm really waiting for the uplifting film about Pol Pot or Idi Amin, I mean, again, we're going to talk about the IRA and, guerrilla tactics and stuff like that. Why don't we talk about killing fields and genocide? I mean,
well, yeah,
uplifting, a Pol Pot comedy.
Well, you could, that's the other thing. You can do Vietnam movies because you just center it on 5 young American men who were sent to Vietnam. There's your movie. We're not casting major characters. I think Killing Fields was one of the few that sort of took into account, there were people in that region who, native to that region, Cambodia, who experienced the war and its after effects from a point of view that we have not really looked at other than, collateral damage. And that's what made Killing Fields so interesting. It's like, this is like really about what happened. And yeah, you don't, that's what made that, and it was a good movie too. So
some things you just can't make fun and entertaining. I mean, this on the other hand, I mean, it is like, that's the thing, like American Mobsters, as fucked up as it is, if you go and read any of the actual stuff about what they were actually doing, cutting each other up, burning one another alive, just doing all terrible things. Like, it's not fun, but yet here we are. And, look, I think it might have been too on the nose if Pacino and De Niro had been in this movie. I don't really know what that would have been. It would have been such a departure from what this is, right?
De Niro would have to play Charlie's part.
Yes.
Yeah, Jimmy the Gent.
Yeah, it's the underwritten of the two.
Yeah, he already played Paulie in Mean Street.
Yeah, no, it was Jimmy the Gent is Mickey Rourke, and then I don't really think Paulie is Tommy, but Tommy was definitely the more volatile of the two in Goodfellas, not on the level of Eric Roberts' performance, but if you're looking for
could you see Casino cast with Eric Roberts and Mickey Rourke?
Oh my God, no. I could see Mickey Rourke, but not Eric Roberts. And you know what? That's the thing. And let's talk about this for a moment.
I don't know. Maybe I could see Eric Roberts in the Joe Pesci role. I would like to see Eric Roberts in the Joe Pesci role.
I think Joe Pesci has a level of self-awareness that Eric Roberts doesn't in terms of being an actor. And Eric Roberts just goes for it without any limiters in this movie. And I honestly think it would have been interesting if it had been De Niro and Pesci in this movie, because that would have been an interesting energy. Because, again, we kind of mentioned Pesci kind of plays a fuck up character in Goodfellas, a similar kind of problematic fire starter who starts fires and then pretends like he doesn't have any need to put them out. It's everybody else's problem.
Ultimately, it's just Of Mice and Men again, right?
I mean, kind of. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, how many of these stories are just about the one guy who's having to clean up the messes of the other moron constantly?
So,
I am not my brother's keeper, right? Like, but apparently, Mickey Rourke, you are.
He went from this overly aggressive to the point of that. I'm still frightened by his performance in that movie, honestly.
Yes.
The role here where he's so frail. I mean, my God, like, he needs protecting in this film. Eric Roberts, man.
But can you believe that those two movies came out? I remember thinking, this guy's going to be famous forever. I mean, this is the new Pacino, the new De Niro, whoever. It's like we now get 40 years of this guy. Same thing with Mickey Rourke. It's like, this guy's so cool. He's like the entire Rat Pack.
Excellent. Yes.
Distilled into one human being. We're going to be watching this guy forever. And here we are 39 years later. And I'm devastated that we don't have 30 amazing Eric Roberts movies. Instead, we have 50 terrible Eric Roberts movies.
Eric Roberts has 700 credits to his name.
Yeah. And it's 695 of them are reprehensible.
Hey, man, sci-fi movies need big actors too. Direct to DVD movies need big actors. That's what I think of when I think of Eric Roberts, is a guy who's in a lot of like DTV stuff or direct to video, which is kind of where Mickey Rourke is now too, in a lot of ways. Like,
but we talk about it with Mickey Rourke that something went wrong. Like there literally might be like concussive brain damage for Mickey Rourke that has placed him where he is in the world right now. Eric Roberts, clearly there was also something going on, some emotional thing that didn't allow him. someone, I think it was George Bernard Shaw, who said actors are insane people who are just sane enough to capitalize on their insanity. And those are the best actors in a way. I think you could look at Al Pacino and say that. You can look at a lot of people and say that. But I think it tilted the other way for Eric Roberts. I think that whatever those demons were, and I honestly don't know if it was substances or mental illness or just personality that kept him from getting great role after great role after great role, and just dominating in the way that those other guys, Jack Nicholson, he could have had a career like Jack Nicholson.
We'll always have King of the Gypsies.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great movie with Eric Roberts. Also, how about this, guys? How about these two Southern boys playing the ultimate New Yorkers in this flick?
Are they Southern boys?
Oh, yeah.
Eric Roberts, Georgia and New Orleans, and Mickey Rourke was raised in Miami.
Yeah, the deep
South.
And
then when Mickey Rourke did a great Irish accent in Prayer for the Dying, I mean, I would have assumed he was Irish.
I will say his accent in this movie is not. It doesn't feel like a put on. It's more of an.
No.
It's more of an invocation, less an impression of an accent. He's just kind of, he's kind of doing that thing. He's not really like, he's not saying mozzarella and shit. Like, he's not doing that. He's not really leaning on it, which I appreciate. Look,
capiche?
Yeah.
Capiche? He says that a lot. He says it a lot.
He says coos at one point, which I do appreciate.
And he gets punched in the face right for it. What a good scene.
Coos. God damn it. God, at least they weren't dropped. Well, I was going to say, Father Malone, in keeping with last year's You've Never Seen September, we do get to hear Eric Roberts say, "You fucking fag." So I did appreciate that. I was hoping he would say queer at some point, just so we could hear that.
To be fair, Mickey Rourke countered at one point with, "You look like half a fag."
That's right.
Yeah. Don't keep on talking, or you sound like half a fag. What did they say that in Goodfellas, right? What do you have? What does he say? In some mobster movie that I watch fairly regularly, say, "What do you, half a fag or something?" In Goodfellas, it's what he says to the guy who owns the restaurant, to Paul Sorvino. Yeah. I love that term, half a fag. What does that mean?
I don't even know.
You're not full. You're just half.
I think it's a
worse
way
to be half.
I think it's a way to call someone in your circle a big insult, but blunt it just enough that it doesn't turn into a fight.
Half. You're half.
You're getting close. Don't make me call you all the way.
All the way.
You're acting like half a fag. Stop now before I
love it. Oh my God. It's such a great term.
You know how I fully feel here, but I don't want to get punched for it. So
yeah, exactly.
The term we were settling on.
Yeah. Good Lord. Hey, we haven't even mentioned the Baron is in this movie. Kenneth McMillan is in this movie, Father.
Oh, Baron Vladimir Harkonnen.
Yeah.
Yes. He's
Baron.
Fantastic. Again, another aspect of this movie that, like, I'm so invested in him and his wife and their story, just like I'm invested in Jack Kehoe and Geraldine Page. They're from a whole other movie. I want to watch their movies, and I want to watch Eric Roberts and Mickey Rourke's movie. They don't belong together.
This is the same year as Dune, by the way, 84. Just want to point that out.
Well, again, it's the hinting at the wide canvas of the movie. And by the way,
is that the novel thing you're mentioning? Like there seems. This probably spilled over the edges, and we'd probably get more out of that book, because it is a 2-hour movie, like to the like 2 hours and 1 minute. So they couldn't go over that. Yeah.
And I think I don't know how I feel about Stuart Rosenberg as a director. I think there's a lot in here that's great, and then some stuff in here that's sort of like, what? But there's something about the tone and the feeling of this movie that I really love. And maybe it's just, it reminds me of my senior year of high school. So I will totally cop to watching this movie through some nostalgia glasses, but it's also kind of beautiful, and it kind of evokes a New York that feels like you'd kind of want to be there. And it's like, oh, I think I would have been happy living in some of these neighborhoods, or at least visiting them. It doesn't feel, it's on no level is it trying to make New York seem horrible and dangerous and awful and a scary place you don't want to be. It's beautiful. The bridge lit up at night, and that little scene, the stickball scene, where a bunch of fucking looks like middle-aged guys in blazers and slacks playing stickball It's what is this? I'm literally going, what planet are we on? Except that I want to be on that planet. I just the feel of the movie, even the Dave Grusin 1984 soundtrack, and 1980s soundtracks often do not age well. Little too much saxophone, little too much Dave Grusin, a little too much, David Sanborn. But this one, as out of place as it was sometimes, I fucking loved it.
I'm going to second that. This is his best score as far as I'm concerned. Oh, no, that's not true. He did Friends of Eddie Coyle, which is fucking incredible. But Dave Grusin's score is just as schizophrenic as the film itself.
Yes.
It's constantly changing and morphing. When we meet Jack Kehoe's character, it's suddenly this synthesizer tune that's just his, and it recurs every time he appears. When they're driving off to the racetrack, it's the music letting us know, okay, this is now a caper. Okay, it's just it reminded me of Midnight Run almost in how buoyant it was with these two guys driving together and bantering, and even though more bad is on the way, like I don't know. I loved a Dave Grusin score in this flick. So,
and sometimes it goes way into scary. We're crawling across rooftops at night in New York. And it really leans into whatever the dictionary definition of that music is. But you're right, and then of course its other egregiousness is. Every time they go to the cops or Kenneth McMillan, it's a little Irish jig.
And that's why it's not better than the Friends of Eddie Coyle, which we're actually dealing with Irish characters on a human level instead of the butt of the joke, the literal exploding butt of the joke.
Oh my God.
By the way, Paulie, as a fuck up as he is, he's also clearly a serial poisoner. And that's going to be a real problem for Charlie at some point later in their lives.
He loves just killing cops and other people with poison.
But it was funny because I thought, are they trying to set it up to feel like he's doing the exact same thing he did to the cop? Is it like, are you putting a laxative in this guy's coffee for some reason that we're gonna then, is that where we're going with this? And then it's like, oh no, I took it way beyond that. I've put acid in his coffee. What? But they're playing off that, right?
Yeah, during that initial scene, he dosing the cop so he'll have massive explosive horse-induced diarrhea on the street. I'm watching it, and my thought was, is this why everyone's calling it a comedy? Because it's really an outrageous scene, and it's 1984. So, this could qualify why they would call it a comedy. And that's all I thought the scene was. So when the cup comes out at the end, I went, ooh, nice. Very nice construction there.
Yeah.
Planting and payoff, one might say.
Oh, yeah, exactly. There was an expectation that got paid off in a more surprising way. But I love his performance in that scene where he's literally like dancing. He's like spazzing out in the street going, cop shit in his pants, cop shit in his pants. He's out of his mind. He's mentally ill. He's mental. And I love it.
You can never accuse Eric Roberts of not being in touch with every one of his emotions.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that is, again, like, that's the thing for me about Eric Roberts. Like, he's had a crazy career of all the things that he's been in. And I mean, like, this is a pretty high profile thing, but then go and look at all the things he did in 2021. I beg you to tell me if you've heard of half of those, let alone even seen where you could watch them. So he has 25 credits in 2021 alone, and most of them don't even have a click through. So yeah. It's just it's fucking wild to me because I do a Steven Seagal podcast, obviously, and we kind of drag on him about that. But
he's turned into Steven Seagal. He's done literally 200 movies you've never heard of. Yeah, yes,
because they wanted to have Eric Roberts in it. It's because he's a working actor and he wants to work. Maybe they wanted a higher profile actor, but Steven Seagal, they're banging on his door. We want you, Steve, to come in.
I would be fascinated to know. I mean, have there been recent interviews with Eric Roberts? Has he been on Mark Maron or something? Do we know how he's doing?
I do not. The last interview I heard of recently regarding this flick, I heard an interview with Mickey Rourke from about 4 or 5 years ago, where he described this as his obvious best movie, and that Eric Roberts is one of the 3 best actors on the planet.
Nice. Oh, I'm happy to hear that.
Eric Roberts was actually talking about this movie a couple months ago on a interview that he did with someone, where he was singing obviously Eric Roberts was singing the praises of Mickey.
Because this is not a movie people know. Like you mentioned it, like people know movies from the 70s. Like you can say Dog Day Afternoon or something, and people, even if they haven't seen it, they're like, yeah, I've heard of it. But you say Pope of Greenwich Village, people do not know what this movie is.
If they do, they know the one scene, which is unfortunate because it doesn't hint at the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
If you're expecting the histrionics from moment one, you will be very disappointed with this film. And it does the film a disservice to go into it thinking it is going to be that.
Yeah.
Can I echo something you said, Rich?
Yeah.
The stickball scene is a thing of beauty.
Yep.
It's my favorite scene in the movie. No, but it is a little bit of poetry. I read a lot of reviews of the film, and a lot of them calling that the scene out, saying like, well, it's really dumb because they're all dressed in their suits and doing this. And I would say, I don't think you've ever lived in an urban environment. If a stickball game happens, you're playing stickball. It's just what you have to do.
That's this movie's Top Gun playing with the boys moment, is it not?
Yeah, but
and that's how these guys dress. That's every day they put on their blazer and their fucking heeled shoes, and that's how they're dressing. And like you said, if a stickball game breaks out, that's how they're dressed.
I mean, Paulie Walnuts would go out there in a wife beater and his slacks and play stickball. And he's not getting dressed in fucking running shorts and sneakers. Like,
if I was in an astronaut outfit and a stickball game happened, I'm playing in an astronaut outfit.
That's fair. I've never even played stickball. That's an urban city thing that us rural folk don't know.
You know, David Chase watched this movie and loved it. Martin Scorsese watched this. I mean, there are moments that feel like in Goodfellas that feel like they're from this, when he knocks the espresso cup out of the guy's hand, the young guy who's working at the club, the hangout place. When Burt Young does that, it feels like when Joe Pesci gets angry at Michael Imperioli.
Spider.
It's Spider. Yeah. In Goodfellas, it's like, oh, it's got that same feeling. There's like a couple of moments where it's like, oh, I see this reflected in later films.
Oh, certainly. I think the right people saw this movie if it wasn't a hit overall to begin with and hasn't been as seen as it should have been.
Yeah.
And I would actually say that this movie does a similar thing that one of my favorite Scorsese does, After Hours, which is give us an interesting kind of travelogue of mid-'80s New York as well. I mean, the movie is more or less set in Greenwich Village, obviously, but it's a part of New York that we're not necessarily getting to see all the time. And it's the main setting, kind of like After Hours with Soho. So...
But I would say what you mentioned earlier, Rich, like this isn't New York. This is a fairy tale New York. This is like Paris in Amélie. That Paris does not exist. That belongs in that world. And we all want to go there. Just like I want to go to this New York. It doesn't exist. It never existed, but it is beautiful.
And idealized.
And After Hours is another one of those. People are like I watch. I'm like, is it a comedy?
I love it.
It's weird.
It is a comedy. That's a fucking weird movie.
That one is a comedy. Oh my God.
It's dark. It's a comedy. There are horrifying moments. There are just surreal moments. Then there are laughs.
You telling me everything bagel and cream cheese paperweights doesn't make you laugh?
But it
you
is
like the monkeys.
I'm a lover of King of Comedy. That's maybe my favorite movie. And there are people who just, again, they're like, no, that flavor, not in this mouth. And I'm like, but it's for me. It is like, if you hate black licorice, I love it. If in this film, I get every beat of it. And is King of Comedy a comedy? I'm laughing, but I'm laughing from a broken place within myself that recognizes Rupert Pupkin and is Rupert Pupkin.
Right. After Hours, I think, embraces what Chris and I apparently respond to, which is everything is so nervous and going to explode in our lives that you can't but laugh.
Yeah. And it seems like it all explodes all at once, which is the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in one night, baby.
Yeah. It just makes me want to watch After Hours, and I already watched it this year like 4 times, but I just want to watch it again.
My girlfriend told me, don't put that on again just recently.
Don't?
Yeah, don't put that on again. You have watched it too many times in my presence.
Wow. Jeez Louise. Hey, man. I get it. That is the thing about a movie like After Hours that this movie doesn't have. Like that, there is a overwhelming sense of foreboding in that movie that's played for laughs. And this movie doesn't have that. It could have, given that there are a bunch of mobsters in the kind of in the wings waiting for everybody. But again, they kind of downplay that these guys are mobsters. Like, the guys that they're dealing with are mobsters. Yeah,
this is not a movie that is screwing up the tension and the unbearable paranoia. They play it a little, but that's not the major flavor.
No, there's scenes kind of, like the rest of the film would just kind of meander into. There's no sense of urgency toward these things necessarily. It's like, oh, and now what was a very funny scene, his thumb is now gone. What the fuck just happened?
And in a way that almost resolves that storyline. It's like, okay, we have evened the score. You're going to come work in my place. Yes, there is still that sense of, okay, but we know there's another guy and we're just waiting for Paulie to rat out Charlie. And we know he's going to, but in another movie, this would be the most tragic moment and the movie would end tragically. And in this movie, it's just sort of like, I fucking knew it. I knew you were going to do it. You motherfucker. You could not rat on me. You said my name. Barney didn't do it. You did it.
This is a movie where where Kenneth McMillan's character gets ratted on and he leaves. He gets away. He essentially just leaves. Yeah. Like, in what of these kinds of stories have you ever seen someone like that just get to walk away with their life? Like, they normally get into a car and then the person pops up behind them and garrots them. Like, that is what I've seen that movie. This movie is a little tame for what it is trying to be. But I think, I think that kind of speaks more again to the idea that this movie in a lot of ways maybe put its eggs in a different basket than I would have if I had been telling this story. But again, in 1984, are you really going to have any more of a gay undertone to this movie than there already is? No, they're not. They're just not. And that's a shame, because if I were making this movie now, I would probably go more in that direction. I think it'd be a more interesting story. It would speak more to what the movie should be talking about, which is a person having to make a decision between two disparate parts of your life. And you have those two characters of Daryl Hannah and Eric Roberts filling in those two parts, but the movie ends up not really wanting to have that conversation.
Well, and we've been joking about it for 40 years, but we haven't done it. I mean, I have yet to see the buddy cop film where they're gay lovers. It's like, and you,
on with it.
Yeah, Richard, you wrote one of the great action movies. I know that only one of your lines exists in it, but I'm not going to let you live that down. You should write it. Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock.
In the 80s, I think we would have all assumed that somewhere in the next 40 years, someone was going to do that. Someone was looking at me. It's like, well, it's got to happen, right? Yeah. We're not doing it now, but maybe in 10 years, 20 years, it's been 39 years. It's like, just do the genre movie with the gay relationship at the center and see if you can still hit your genre moments through that relationship and deliver on all of it. Deliver on action, deliver on comedy, deliver on sexy, deliver on romance. Why couldn't you?
Gay Lethal Weapon. I'm down for this. It's going to happen sooner or later.
That's what it should be called, by the way. Gay Lethal. Gay Lethal Weapon.
You couldn't do it 40 years ago because there weren't enough artists who were out and planting their flag on their identity in a way that would allow them to do it. And now the marketplace is open for that. The marketplace is like, we'll take it. We'll take that. Why not? And there's artists and actors and people who can do it who are not risking their career. And you would probably end up casting, queer actors and have a queer writer and a queer director and do it.
Matt Bomer, he's got to be in them.
Of that guy.
Right? I will say if a movie like that had been made in the 80s, it would have been like Soul Man, and it would have just been played for laughs and weird and cringe humor. And isn't it weird that they're gay? And isn't it an abomination that they're gay? And by the end of it, maybe the characters would be together. But they could have done it in the 80s. It just would have been something like Soul Man, where when you're watching it 40 years later, you're like, whoa, what? That's a choice.
Yeah. Well,
Can I derail the conversation for a moment and talk about one of the actors in this movie we're probably not going to mention and doesn't get mentioned enough? A guy named John Finn. He plays Ginty, the Irish bartender at the bar where Eric Roberts doses the cop.
Huh.
John Finn was also in Blown Away as one of the leads of the bomb squad unit.
Oh, yeah.
And in the same film that Jeff Bridges delivers what I consider the worst Boston accent of all time, John Finn, native of New York, delivers what I considered the best Boston accent of all time, that I was shocked when I discovered that he was not from Boston.
Michael Krichkow from the X-Files.
Goddamn right.
Mm-hmm.
well, in this movie, he's doing an Irish accent.
He is, yes, but I'm saying later in Blown Away, I'm saying that I noticed him first in Blown Away. That was the only thing I took away from the movie. It's like, oh, look, that one Boston guy was doing such a great job. So to see him here again, having not seen the movie forever, and knowing it was a Boston guy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So he's a New York guy who was doing a Boston accent in Blown Away and an Irish accent in this.
Yes. I love John Finn. Everyone watch John Finn movies and TV shows.
Good. Cool. I'm glad you called him out.
Anything else we've got?
No.
Father Malone, I'll kick it to you first. Final thoughts on The Pope of Greenwich Village.
It's an acquired taste. All the best things are. I recommend the movie overall. I have major problems with it. I'm mad at it for not being a great movie. It's a really good movie. But if you want to watch a performance piece, well, you're not going to get better than this. And that's ultimately where this movie rises and falls. It's on the performance of those two guys who are as bright as they're ever going to be in cinema right here. And do yourself a favor and seek the movie out. Everything else sort of falls by the wayside while watching these two on screen together.
I couldn't agree more. And I remember while I was watching it thinking, this is not a perfect film on any level, but personally, I love it in the way you love your teddy bear with the missing ear. I almost love it for its flaws. Even it increases my love because it is a movie that is also from another time, and that time was my time. And watching it reminds me of the 80s and seeing movies and seeing performances early on in my creative life and when they impacted me in a particular way. And this brought so much of that back that I loved it. Like we were saying, for its whacked out score and some of the whacked out performances and it's all over the place tone. So I definitely recommend it, as long as you're not going to get, it's not a straight ahead Scorsese mobster movie. It's not a straight ahead Midnight Run or The In-Laws, two dudes comedy, two personalities that, clash. It is all of those things and a few others. So walk in with your mind wide open and enjoy it, most specifically for this relationship and these performances between Mickey Rourke and Eric Roberts.
Shame on you, Rich. Your time is now, sir.
As it is for all of us.
True. I will say I did enjoy this movie. Again, I have my quibbles with it, obviously, but I'm a sucker for a good mobster movie, especially one that doesn't necessarily take itself overly seriously. And hey, having Burt Young drink an espresso cup full of lye at the end, that don't lie. That's a fun movie. And this is a fun movie. And it is ultimately about, giving the actors a lot of rope to run around with and just kind of see what they come up with. And Mickey Rourke and Eric Roberts are a good duo together, better than I think any other duo could have brought to this script. So no, I enjoyed it immensely. So on that note, we'll take a break and we'll play the first preview for You've Never Seen September, programmed by the one and only Malone.
Get ready for the biggest fun party ever. 1974's most hilarious, wildest movie is here.
Would you believe this? There's a cop. Oh, just go to speed limit. You know, cops can smell fear. You don't have to go. You don't drive slow. I'm gonna speed up. No, plus, please. He's still following. I don't want to get stuck with the shit in the car, man. Grab the shit. It's under there. Get the shit. Leave it there. Get it. Leave it there, man. Leave it there. What are you gonna do? Eat the shit. What, you want to do? Throw it out the window?
It was really great. Really loved it.
It was funny. It was really good.
I thought it was a riot. I really liked it.
I thought it was really great. I really liked it a lot. It was really funny. It's crazy about it.
Oh, I thought it was fantastic.
It was really good.
The Groove Tube. But don't just take our word for it. The New York Times said, anyone who ever suffered that Chinese torture known as American television owes it to himself to see The Groove Tube.
That's right. On the next episode, we're going to be talking about The Groove Tube, a movie that I have been told ahead of time is a unrelenting piece of shit. So I've been told it's not good by several people. So I don't know. I don't know.
You've been talking to psychopaths.
I may have. It's possible.
No.
I think both of my in-laws worked on that movie. I know that Joyce worked on it. I think John did too. I think they were there.
Rich, could you perhaps talk to them and then come on that podcast with us?
I'll bring them on. I'll have them tell you their stories.
Right on.
But yeah, we'll be covering The Groove Tube for the first episode of You've Never Seen September, which Father Malone did program. We'll also be talking about the Kentucky Fried Movie, Mr. Mike's Mondo video, and we'll be rounding out the month with Amazon Women on the Moon. Yeah. So until then, where can people find you, Mr. Richard Haddam?
You can find me on the picket line, usually outside Disney. Although I did hit Universal this week for Dungeons and Dragons theme day. Took the kids. It's just turning into a block party every day in front of these studios.
Like you guys have like a Ferris wheel out there and concession stands. You got fair games, prizes you can win.
And the beautiful thing is that these guys, these fucking, heads of these companies, they keep thinking they're demoralizing us. And the joke among all of us is that they're in their buildings looking at us and they're like, well, Christmas came anyway. It came without buttons. It came without bows.
I thought you were going to say they look out the window and go, what is that they're doing down there? Engaging in camaraderie? Shut the fuck up, the rest of you. They seem like they might be enjoying one another out there.
It is. It's like Christmas came anyway. It's like we can't, every time we try to break them, it only makes them stronger. I don't understand it. And we're just like, look, we're writers. We're consumed with incandescent rage and fear all the time. This is just Tuesday for us. Only now we get to hang out and there's an ice cream truck. So yeah, here's what we're doing now. And we'll do it until it's over with, and then we'll go do something else. Because that's the other joke, is that they don't know what it's like to work on a bad show. When I say a bad show, I don't mean a show where the end product isn't good. I mean a show where it is a nightmare to work on that show with those people, those producers, those actors, those whatever. And you're there and there's no way out, because writers don't quit. Writers don't quit a show that's no fun to be on. They fucking suffer. They cry in their car in the parking lot and they show the fuck up the next day. And that's what they don't get about us. There's no breaking us. We'll just do it forever.
The term I like to use is you're too stupid to know when to quit.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
We've got moron strength and we're just going to keep using. They're just like, I don't get, they're down there. They're still doing karaoke in the street.
We call it big moron energy, BME.
Big moron energy, man. It's all over the town nowadays.
Have you guys sung Over There by any chance? The old Georgian Gentleman standard? I would really love it if you did.
I'm sure it's happened. Well, now that the actors are with us,
Right.
it's gone to a whole other level of just
Theatricality.
just insane energy. Just like, God, we thought we were unstoppable. These guys are out of their minds. So yeah, they have unleashed something that may not ever be put back in its bottle.
You may never get to see Dune 2, folks. And on that note, Father Malone, where can people find you?
You can find me over at weirdingwaymedia.com. I have a bunch of shows over there like Midnight Viewing, the Night Gallery podcast, or Noise Junkies, Chris mentioned at the top of the show. It's a music podcast I do with Mondo Heather Drain and my brother from another mother, HP. You can hear all of that stuff over there. Over there. Over there.
As for me, you can find all my stuff at Weirding Way Media as well. Father Malone and I used to work on a show called Chronicles from the Crypt. Richard and I and the projection booth's own Mike White host a show called Rankin on Bass. And Susan Lambert Haddam and Sharon Johnson have a little show that got nominated for an award. It's called 80s TV Ladies, and you should be listening to everything I just mentioned and more, and you can find it all at weirdingwaymedia.com. As for this show, patreon.com/culturecast, culturecast.com, all the places you can go to find the show, support the show, $10, $20, $50. If you want to make us watch Mickey Rourke movies for an entire month, that's how you can do it. Richard, Father Malone, thank you both so much for joining me. This was fun and unexpected. This was not on the calendar at the beginning of the month, but here we are. So
that's two you owe me, Junior.
Yeah, you're welcome, Senior. And as always, we'll catch you on the next episode.